told him I couldn't go. All right, here we go. You ready? Are we ready?
We don't have James, but we're ready.
Good evening and welcome to the Spalding County Board of Commissioners January 20th Extraordinary Session. I would please ask that you would silence your cell phones and all other electronic devices. This time, I'd ask Commissioner Reginald Watts from District 3 to deliver the invocation and Commissioner Ryan Bolden from District 4 to lead us in the pledge of the flag.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, Lord, we just want to thank you for coming together today only for this meeting, Lord. And Lord, right now, we just ask that you just guide and lead us as we make decisions about this community. And Lord, we just ask that you lead us, Lord, that we do the right thing for the people in this community, Lord. Lord, we ask for unity, Lord. We ask for respect. Lord, we also ask for you to just bless our first responders, Lord, and their families. Lord, it is in your powerful name, your people have prayed. Amen, amen, amen.
If you would, please join me in pledge allegiance to our flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioners. For those that routinely watch us, you'll notice that we've moved some seats around tonight. Commissioner Dutton is not here, and so we've moved around a little bit to be able to facilitate communication as we try to move through tonight. I believe we have a request to amend the agenda for this evening to add a resolution authorizing the condemnation of fee simple property rights for the development and improvement of aviation and transportation facilities. Let's make sure, okay. I'd like to add that to item number 11. Additionally, consider a resolution to authorize the county manager to consult with the legislative delegation as well as with the county managers of Pike, Upson, and Fayette counties to determine the willingness of all parties to participate in and all actions necessary to determine the feasibility of and to enact legislation by the Georgia General Assembly for the purpose of splitting the Griffin Judicial Circuit to include the counties of Spalding, Pike, and Upson, and to exclude the county of Fayette, to which will remain a single county judicial, and make that item number 12. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 4-0, unanimous motion carries. At this time, I'd
Sorry, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Dutton is on the phone, and I have him right here.
welcome Commissioner Dutton from Las Vegas, I think.
Good evening, y'all. That's right, Vegas.
Yes.
For a convention, not for vacation. I promise.
Okay, thank you. All right, at this time, item number 4, presentation of financial statements. Ms. Jamie, if you would present the financial statement for December this evening.
Good evening, Commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to present the county's financial update. Tonight, I'm going to be providing you with an overview of our financial performance for fiscal year 2026 through December 31st. We'll review revenue collections, expenditures, and encumbrances for both general and fire funds. As a reminder, December marks the midpoint of our fiscal year, so we are evaluating our position at roughly 50% of the annual budget. For December, fire fund revenues total $6.64 million, while expenditures through the same period amount to $5.3 million. Encumbrances driven primarily by the procurement of new fire trucks stand at $6.75 million. To date, revenues have reached $6.6 million, or about 60% of the annual budget. Total expenditures and encumbrances combined are $12 million, of which $6.75 is encumbered for upcoming purchases. Altogether, this represents approximately 63% of the annual fire fund budget. This chart provides a clear snapshot of our financial position through December. You'll notice the gap between revenue and expenditures. This mirrors the seasonal trend we observed during fiscal year 2025, where revenues ramp up significantly later in the fiscal year. At the 6-month mark, cumulative revenues total $30 million, while expenditures stand at $42 million. Revenues have reached approximately 39% of the annual budget, which is right where we would expect to be at this point in the year. As monthly trends show, expenditures have remained steady while revenues continue to climb gradually. We also anticipate a substantial tax revenue deposit of $25 million posting with our January financials. This deposit will significantly boost our revenue position and further narrow the current gap of revenues and expenditures. To date, the county has collected $22 million in taxes, representing 73.8% of total revenue. This category includes real and personal property taxes, interest and penalties, public utility, motor vehicle, and ad valorem taxes, tag and title fees, local option sales tax, alcohol and business occupation taxes, railroad equipment tax, as well as other miscellaneous tax sources. Miscellaneous revenue totals $1.3 million, or 4.5% of total revenue. These funds include school resource officer reimbursements, inmate phone and commissary revenue, CI detail reimbursements, motor coach trips, surplus sales, and spay-neuter fees. Charges for services total $2.1 million, or 7%. These include probate and magistrate fees, adult probation, inmate housing, medical reimbursements, animal control, recreation, scrap iron sales, state tax collection fees, and recording fees. Licenses and permits generated $857,000, or 2.9%, including business and alcohol licenses, business building permits, inspections, zoning, and subdivision permits, as well as marriage and pistol licenses. Fines and forfeitures contributed $1.1 million, representing 3.8% of total revenue from Superior, State, and Magistrate courts. Intergovernmental revenues totaled $2.25 million, 7.5%, coming from state and federal sources such as DOT reimbursements, FEMA, Boost, VOCA, COPS, and various grant programs. Investment income contributed $143,000, and donations account for $11,000. Overall, revenues are strengthening as expected, and we anticipate continued growth throughout the remainder of FY 2026, helping to further close the gap between revenues and expenditures. Personnel costs, salaries, benefits, and FICA remain our largest expenditure category at 61.5%, or $19.7 million. Purchases and contractual services make up 5%, or $1.65 million, including IT equipment and software maintenance, travel, legal fees, dues, training, elections, communications, and vehicle maintenance. Other costs account for 21.5%, or $6.9 million. These include park repairs, T-Splosh paving and sidewalks, the Cigna FSA account, street lighting, contributions to the Development Authority, airport operations, forestry services, public safety training, archives, public health, and library support. I did want to update and notate that a significant portion of this increase reflects $3.1 million in airport acquisition funding, which, may I mind you, is 90% reimbursable, so we are waiting on those collections, which will help offset the expenses. For supplies, including utilities, uniforms, fuel, office materials, and small equipment, that makes up 7.5%, or $2.4 million. Debt service represents 2.8%, or $896,000, covering principal and interest on enterprise vehicle, Noresco, and capital equipment leases. Capital outlay represents 1.7%, or $542,000, including playground improvements, walking trails, the master park plan, fleet additions, and public works equipment. Also to notate, this category reflects an increase due to the purchase of 2 new public works vehicles. Lastly, I wanted to make note that we have a pending T-Splosh reimbursement of $2.6 million, which will assist with offset of those expenditures. Overall expenditure remains aligned with projections. Encumbrances for major capital purchases are notable, but were anticipated and are supported by strong planning and incoming revenues. Our truest operating account began November with $22.2 million and ended the month reflecting continued financial strength and resiliency. Across all county accounts, we currently hold $49.1 million in combined assets, demonstrating effective cash flow management and strategically timed revenue inflows. While we are operating at a temporary deficit, the gap is narrowing and aligns with historical patterns. With major January revenues pending, we remain well positioned for a strong financial rebound. Our foundation is solid, and we expect continued revenue growth in the coming months. And I just wanted to go back and clarify, I said November, it was December we started with $22.2 million. Sorry about that. Thank you for your attention, and I'm here to answer any questions.
I have a question.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Looking at the balance sheet for the checking accounts, so are the ARPA funds not exhausted? Why, we had that line item, Spalding County ARPA funds sewer project. Aren't those, it hasn't a deadline run out for?
Actually, the deadline is the end of this year. They had to be allocated by the end of last year and spent
Okay.
before the end of this year.
All right.
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
thank you.
Thank you, County Manager. You're welcome. Anybody else have questions? Thank you for your time. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Just
Yes, sir.
before you leave, Jamie, I want to say, I am routinely asked questions about, I don't understand what you're doing with your budget. You're not transparent with your budget and things like that. This is an example. We do this every time almost, and we come through and look at it. You have an opportunity for us to see it, for you all to see it at the same time. So this is, when people say to me, you don't show us your budget and stuff like that, I'm not sure how much more we can do to be able to show you exactly where we stand and what's going on. Yes, sometimes it appears that we're below, but that's the way our system is set up when we collect taxes and things like that. All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to accept the financial statements as presented.
I say,
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. James, are you raising your hand? Thank you. 5 of us all approved. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Item number 5, presentation proclamation. 2025 presentation of accomplishment. Dr. Ledbetter, if you would please lead us in this part.
Yes, sir, it would be my privilege. Thank you. So last week, the Board of Commissioners had the opportunity to travel to LaGrange and participate in a 2-day retreat. And during the course of the 2 days, we had the opportunity to do many things, but 3 things I would like to share with you during the presentation here over the course of the next few minutes. One is to showcase all of the accomplishments that our great team have made over the course of 2025. There are 7 pages of accomplishments. I won't read them all, but I would like to highlight just a few of the things that we've accomplished. You have to forgive me, my glasses are in the other room, so I will do this by memory. But over the course of the last 18 months, because it's taken quite a bit of time, our finance team, and it's talked about here on administration, have worked through bringing online our new ERP, our financial package for Tyler. This was no small feat. In fact, it touched every part of our organization because every single clerk that puts purchase orders or requests into the system had to go through training. We have transitioned from Smart Fusion, which is the prior ERP, the prior financial software package, over to Tyler. Thanks to Erica and her team, they have done a tremendous job. Erica has led the charge as the program manager for Spalding County to make this transition. Very happy and pleased with the work that they have done. Over the course of the next year, we will have the opportunity, because we have one full year worth of material data in the system. But over the course of the next year, we will have the opportunity to forward face the software package back out to our community and be more transparent with our budgetary product, which is what you just discussed. Very proud of the team for the work that they've done there. We also talked about animal control and the work that they've done. We talked about construction and the use of our CI team to bring construction inmates and give them a skill set, continue to hone their skill set for the work that they do for our community. Community development. One of the things that Director Allen, who's sitting in the audience with us tonight, have done, we have increased the number of permits that we've issued through our community, and as we discuss on a regular basis, we do not see that number going down. We only see that number increasing over the course of the next few years as development comes to our community. The coroner's office. This is one department that that's always interesting. I don't want to go see them simply because I'd like to stay around for a little while longer and take care of our community. But I want to give a shout out to Mike Pryor and the team that they've done. We've moved them into a new facility for them, provided some much needed equipment for them, and it's just a pleasure that they come in every time that they come through our annex, and they talk so highly about the work that you have done in support of that department. We talked a little bit about the Correctional Institute, the clerk of court. Their backload of cases continue, but it's really good to hear them talk about the amount of work that they've got coming through and the work that the clerks in their departments are doing to move cases through effectively. Our 911 facility, they answered more calls this year than they did the previous year. Some of the challenges that we talked about through the accomplishments have resulted in an area of opportunity for us, and we'll talk more about that over the next 2 or 3 meetings. The emergency management, I'm not going to spend a lot of time here tonight because that individual is going to come up here in just a few minutes, and just very proud of the work that this team is doing. One caveat that I will add to this is please pay attention to the weather this week, because this weekend is going to be very bad. And I'm pretty sure that Chief Polk will talk more about that here in just a minute. Our emergency radio and IT. Last year we did an upgrade for the radio system for our community. It was a heavy lift for Mike and Tony, our 2 people, and Harris. But they were able to accomplish that transition in short order with very limited downtime. So that was good. Our fire department, although they averaged the same number of calls from last year to this year, the severity of the calls that they are answering has increased, and the superstars that we have as heroes in our fire department, I cannot say enough about. They are absolutely fabulous when it comes to the work that they do, and I think that is very evident with the very, very, very low turnover rate that we have with our fire department. Very pleased with Chief Byrd, with his entire leadership team, and the information that's listed on the screen here just indicates all the great work that they are doing. Okay. Our grants manager, who is sitting in the back of the room, who I believe has 4, maybe 5 agenda items this evening, is just knocking it out of the park for our community. I think if you sat down and took a look at how much money Mr. Wallace is bringing to our community, it not only pays for his salary, but actually supports and helps us maintain our community goals for taking care of the financial needs without burdening our taxpayers, without burdening me as a taxpayer. And just very happy with the work that he's doing, as is indicated here. Our leisure services, you can see on the screen the numbers that they hit for not only the Boost grant, but for taking care of Meals on Wheels and providing services through our senior center. Parks, just an amazing opportunity that we have to bring in about $10 million worth of grants and upgrade Ambucks Park and Volunteer Park, and the work that's going on in both of those locations. And you can see in the bottom left-hand corner there the amount of money that's being invested in our community by our state. And I just want to say thank you to our state representatives for the opportunity to use those grant funds appropriately. Public Works, the T-Splost program continues to be a great program for our community. We are doing exactly what we said we would do 5 years ago. This year is our 5th year in our T-Splost, and we are well on track to hit our 100-mile goal for the amount of roads that we're resurfacing or repaving. Solid Waste and Special Projects, and then finally is the Spalding County Accountability Court. The graduation rate for the Accountability Court continues to move us forward. It looks like we'll be over the 25 mark for our graduates, so very happy with the work that Judge Esri is doing for our community. Sentence enforcement, remember last year we brought sentence enforcement on. This was their first full year. So you see some of the accomplishments that they've created in the top left. Our stormwater team, we have 2 members on our stormwater team, and they are doing quite a remarkable job. This is a much needed department for us as we continue our development to make sure that we're taking care of the cross drains and the ditches and piping systems that we have in support of removing stormwater from those low areas in our community, and I think they're doing quite well. Our state court, you can see the number of cases, the criminal cases at 2914 that they adjudicated, and 4,000, almost 5,000 cases for the traffic court. They're working very hard. As you remember, this month, we were expecting the second state court judge to be installed. It's our understanding that the governor will actually make his appointment the first week of February. So we expect that the second state court will be fully operational in fiscal year 27. And then the tax assessor's office, just as an aside, our chief tax assessor retired at the end of December, and the board of assessors are working to put a new chief appraiser into that role here in very short order. So those are the accomplishments for our team. I'm very proud of our team. I think they have done just a remarkable job for our community. We run with a very lean organization, and what I mean by that is we have the least amount of people that can accomplish the mission, and they go well and above the call of duty. As our community grows, there will be a need to increase in certain areas, but this past year they have really stepped up and showed out in a great way. And I'm very proud of the work that they've done. But I just wanted to share with you all of the great things that our community should be thankful for with respect to the employees that work for and serve our community daily. Also wanted to,
Impressive, County Manager.
thank you, sir. With your approval, I'd like to just continue while I'm here. I'd like to share with you what's going on with our T-Splost. Our T-Splost program, like I stated earlier, is working quite well. Our collections are over what were anticipated or expected. We expect that at the end of the T-Splost program, we will have approximately $5.3 million in excess of what was originally budgeted, but don't run too far out in front of that. That's actually a good thing because $5.3 million will get us to the 100 miles of resurfacing and repaving. Uh, but remember, we have gone through a significant economic opportunity over the last 4 years. The cost to not only resurface or repave has increased, but so has the striping and the backfill. So we expect to come out neutral at the end of March 2027 when our T-Splost expires. For that, I am very thankful. We programmed well. We programmed the right number of roads, and we made an anticipated expectation of the revenue well when we put this program into play. So great job by this board for making sure that you are holding staff accountable for programming correctly for T-Splost. Here are the roads that remain. There's approximately 20 miles of roads that remain that will be resurfaced this year. In the top part of this slide, those roads that are grayed out are the ones that have been resurfaced or repaved. I would like to share with you what we're seeing and how we do our analysis for our expectation. We actually run these analyses on a monthly basis to make sure that we understand what is expected moving forward so that we can cover the debts, the expected debts for resurfacing or repaving in our roads. As you can see, we've had a slight increase in our trend line for our revenue receipts for our T-Splost. So that's how we're expecting to make sure that we're going to cover all of the requirements over the course of the next year. Finally, I do want to share with you what the goals and the priorities were from our board as we left our retreat last Thursday afternoon. The information that you see on the screen actually highlights in rank order what we walked away from with respect to our priorities and goals. And I'll read them. Number 1 was addressing jail needs. Number 2 was evaluating taxes. Number 3, strengthening code enforcement. Number 4, continuing our work on our transportation infrastructure to include resurfacing, repaving, sidewalks, trails. That is really important to this board, and it has been a good program. Continuing to improve animal control services, managing trash and waste more effectively, and then finally, number 7 is supporting efforts to reduce our homelessness. Those were the 7 priority goals that you provided staff. In addition to those priorities, you also afforded staff the opportunity to hear from you with respect to what your expectations were around each of these. And staff looks forward to putting that together through our budget process and making sure that we're in alignment with the direction that you would have us go. And that's all I have for that piece of the puzzle. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. Item number 2, request for the BOC to consider the approval of scheduling 3 required public hearings related to House Bill 581. Dr. Ledbetter.
Yes, sir. So to ensure full transparency, legal compliance, and meaningful public engagement, the Spalding County Board of Commissioners should conduct the 3 required public hearings before deciding whether to opt out of House Bill 581 or opt in. This is the statewide floating homestead exemption that we opted out of last year. Georgia law mandates that any local government seeking to opt out must publicly advertise its intent to hold at least 3 public hearings, including 1 during the early evening, to give residents ample opportunity to understand the implications and provide input on the exemptions and what the impact on local revenues and services will be. Communities across Georgia, including counties, cities, and school systems, have initiated this process not only to meet the statutory March 1st deadline, but also to educate our neighbors about how opting out may affect property tax structures, funding, stability, and long-term fiscal planning. Conducting these three hearings positions Spalding County to make a well-informed, community-supported decision grounded in both legal due process and responsible governance. Given Spalding County's revenue structure and service demands, holding three public hearings to consider opting out of House Bill 581 is both a legal requirement and a fiscal responsibility. Georgia counties rely heavily on property and sales tax, which together account for approximately 57% of all county revenue statewide, but for us, that number is far more in the lines of 80%. So, because residential property values in Georgia have risen sharply, statewide assessed values increased by nearly 61% from 2018 to 2023. But one of the things that I would like to share with our community is that we saw a slight decrease in valuation, and I do mean slight decrease in valuations last year, and it appears that that will be the same trend this year. Local governments have come to rely on even more residential properties to sustain operational revenue. However, a tax structure overly dependent on residential parcels is not sufficient to support long-term service delivery needs, especially when House Bill 581's inflation-based cap could significantly limit future revenue growth. As you remember, last year, the increase by the Department of Revenue was 0%, and this year it is 2.71%. So with counties across the state warning that such caps may jeopardize their ability to meet rising expenses, it is essential that Spalding County fully evaluate the fiscal impact before making a decision. The three public hearings provide an opportunity to explain how the county's tax-based composition affects its ability to fund current services and to ensure residents understand the potential consequences of opting in or out of House Bill 581 restrictions. So staff's recommendation for the board to consider is to direct staff to advertise and hold three public hearings to consider whether or not to opt in or opt out of House Bill 581. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, County Manager. Great presentations. You're not asking for anything to be voted on tonight. You're just asking simply for us to pass guidance to you to say, hey, find the dates, work the dates out, get the dates ready to go for three public hearings to be able to do it no matter which way we go.
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay? Does everybody understand? And the time is getting fairly short to be able to get this done and all that through. All right?
So it's my understanding that the board is directing staff to move forward with those three public
Find us
hearings.
3 dates.
All right.
And it has to be done by when?
End of March?
In the 1st of March.
1st of March, yeah. So
We
it's gonna-
have to find the dates and hold three public hearings in the month of February. We can do that in conjunction with the three meetings that we currently have on the books. We can do one public hearing at the workshop February the 2nd. The second public hearing could be held that night, and then the third public hearing would be held on the 16th of February.
Remember, we've got to publicize and all these restrictions. This
Okay.
is administratively, it's not just picking these dates and saying, here it is. We've
You know,
gotta-
I was just trying to understand this was something that we have to do annually. We're
Yes, ma'am.
supposed to do annually. However, this is the actual time. We've run up against the wall for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. Item number 3, presentation to Chief Polk of the International Association Emergency Management IAEM certificate. Dr. Ledbetter, you're back up again?
Good evening. Thank you for this. I really did not expect or want this, but it is a testimony of the support that we have in our community. This is a team award, even though it's got my name on it. It could not have happened without the support of you guys and the awesome team I have, which one of them is back there in the back that is with me through thick and thin. Just thank you for your support. We, this is a lot of initiatives we have in our community, and hopefully those list of accomplishments are just the beginning of many, many more. And as we continue to grow and are able to do more things for our community, but it's definitely a team award. So thank you for the opportunity for acknowledging this. So thank you. It's a very comprehensive and exhaustive evaluation of what I've done over the years. So, but I don't want to miss a chance to, besides sending an email, is to share with you this weekend. I don't get a whole lot concerned so far out, but this one, from what I'm seeing, is kind of cause for concern because so many people are already in agreement of what could possibly happen. I've heard everything from historic to catastrophic. Quarter of inch of ice can definitely cause havoc on our infrastructure, and they're projecting much more than that. So please take time to prepare yourself, your families. We're already working, prepare our teams here. We're going to start some team meetings tomorrow. So, but anything you need in the meantime, please reach out to us. So thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you for the update.
Thank you, Chief.
So while you're coming down, I just want to make one comment. So the public service announcement that Chief Polk just provided is one of the reasons why he is receiving this award. The amount of work that Chief does for our community with respect to emergency management is just overwhelming. What a great job. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
This is family and friends. This is how we work. I'm not either. Yeah, you are. I think you are.
You had stragglers on the side.
Michael, you're doing great.
You might get some more marks.
I know.
Item number 4, presentation from the Spalding County Collaborative 2023 Tornado Funding. Ms. Regina Abbott and party?
Pastor Katie Pash.
Pastor K, excuse me. Kate.
So my name is Pastor Katie Pash, and I'm retired from St. John Lutheran Church. But for the past 3 years, I have been working with the Spalding Collaborative and the, here we are, Spalding County Voluntary Organizations Active in Disaster, or a VOAD. And we are under the umbrella of the Spalding Collaborative Authority for Families and Children. Our 5013C status is attached to that as our bylaws. We were organized in 2011. That was for one tornado that we had in the county. And this is our final report for our recovery for 2020, whoops, other way. There we go. So I imagine that everybody in this room remembers exactly where you were on January 12th, 2020. I know Chief Polk does. If you were a leader in the community, you probably were wondering how you were gonna help people, in the community. So we had 4 tornadoes, they were kind of swirled around, did a lot of damage, but the one EF3 with, peak winds at 155 miles per hour went a path of 32 miles through Spalding County all the way over to Henry County. And that did the most damage for us. People were left without shelter, and a lot of people just needed help at that point. And that's the intersection, of course, of 92 and 1941. These are some pictures of the damage that was done, and again, I was just really amazed at how quickly chainsaw crews responded, and I think it was the EMA and all of your hard work that we were prepared for that. Remember, it was 3 o'clock that this started. Kids were on buses, and some had to turn back and go back to their schools. Not only were residences destroyed, but also businesses. So, and the equipment, the inventory, and the structures themselves. The immediate response came from chainsaw crews from across the state, and Samaritan's Purse, Team Rubicon, Georgia Baptist Disaster Rescue. The Red Cross and the Salvation Army set up, and I heard that the Salvation Army fed about 7,000 people, including responders, emergency operations center, shelters, and mass feeding within the community. I think the God thing that happened, though, was this distribution center. City Church had just purchased this warehouse, but they didn't have enough money to begin to remodel it for their church. And it was just a perfect place for us to have all of those donations, 1,000 pounds of goods donated. And then, of course, all of the people who came to not only take those donations and organize them, but also to help people who needed, the survivors who needed to take them to their cars and help them find all of that. Soon after the storms were declared a disaster, all of these organizations came to help us. FEMA came, GEMA, and initially there were 385 renters and then 194 homeowners who received FEMA assistance. That was just initially. And of course, again, Chief Polk and his team were here to help us with that. So here is the Resource Allocation Committee. I've been the chair of this committee, and I just need to say a shout out for all of those folks. We couldn't have done it without them. They had experience with the community, they knew where things were, and just had such wisdom. We met weekly for 3 years, and we're just able to help so many people. So AVOAD is a network of nonprofit agencies, as you can see, faith-based organizations, civic group, businesses, schools, and local governments. And all of that is anchored by the Spalding Collaborative. So our immediate response to the unmet needs, we had $137,000 in contributions from the community, and we had $22,000 left over from that 2011 tornado. So we used that for case management to verify that the needs were storm-related. And we signed a contract with Spalding Collaborative for case management, and that was supervised by Regina Abbott. And again, a shout out to Regina for doing that. That was hard work for that first. So we distributed $79,000 of the 137 to help people with food and rent and household items, damaged vehicles, and equipment needed for their work. In October of 2023, the long-term recovery phase began, and Scott Parrish, who's pictured on the left there, from the United Methodist Committee on Relief, and Pastor Morgan Gordy from Lutheran Disaster Response partnered together. Scott Parrish, UMCOR does the training for disaster response for construction managers and case managers. Lutheran Disaster Response provides the finances. So together they teamed up to give us Craig O'Hara, the construction manager, and Katie Johnston, a case manager. The case managers work with the homeowners and assess what the unmet needs are. And the construction manager goes on the site and figures out what the cost of repairs are going to be. Then they present that plan to the Resource Allocation Committee, to our committee. In October of 2024, Craig and Katie were deployed to Augusta for Hurricane Helene. So we lost them, but at the same time, Disaster Case Management Program was awarded to the Salvation Army. And so we were able to continue the long-term recovery. And this is the team that, it was a little different way to provide disaster support. But as soon as we were able to establish a good relationship with each other, we understood, we had confidence that we were going to be able to make it through that. One person in particular, Leslie Remele Netter, the resource coordinator, came on board towards the end of this period, but she provided us with so many resources, grants, best practices, and so we learned a lot from her. Here are all of the organizations and nonprofits that gave us funding. UMCOR, the Salvation Army, Lutheran Disaster Response, Global Ministries of the United Church of Christ, Catholic Charities of Atlanta, Habitat for Humanity, Convoy of Hope, City Church, First Baptist Church, and St. John Lutheran Church. That was the bulk of the funding that we were given. So from October 2023 to December of 2025, the total response that we were able to give was $596,000, well, almost $597,000 to restore 28 households. And you can see the materials for and contractors. Volunteer labor saved us a lot of money. In-kind donations, and then gift cards, and a volunteer coordinator for the last part of the year of December 2025. So volunteers are really critical in disaster response. They help reduce the costs so more homeowners can be helped. And I said 5,000 hours, and yet it has to be more than that. Because, you know, volunteers don't write down their time. They get so lost in the process that they don't account for the time. So, and I just learned recently that the volunteer value at a basic level is about $35 an hour. And that's for someone unskilled like me. I wouldn't know, you know, a wrench from a screwdriver probably, but still, the value is $35 an hour. So the total contribution of that is almost $174,000. The team in the yellow shirts there, they came from coastal Georgia, and they were very experienced in disaster response. We had a youth group in the center there on the top from the United Methodist Church in Marietta, Georgia. We had a college group from Valparaiso, and we had a mission team from Christ Our Shepherd Lutheran Church in Peachtree City. I want to give a shout out to that young woman in the center bottom picture there, Winta. It was a senior at Spalding High School, and she raised funds from a trivia night and then got another grant from 4-H, Georgia 4-H. And she made welcome home baskets with all of that money, about $900 worth of welcome home baskets. so every person counts in this recovery. Here are some of the folks that we were able to help, and I'm proud of the fact that we were able to help those who were at the most risk, people who were underinsured or not insured, the elderly, households with special needs, and they were so grateful for the help that was given. After a year of work with one particular resident, we were able to finally get him settled in his new home. And I think his gratitude and his understanding of what happened kind of sums it up for everyone that we helped. He said, "I've never been given anything in my whole life. I can't believe all these people have helped me." You know this part of the story. The block grant, community development block grant, is finally up and running in the county. And as of January 2026, a few weeks ago, the report came to Chief Polk that the applications received have passed eligibility and have moved to the benefits and insurance review. So that's good news. What happened, though, when this block grant started is our work stopped because homeowners, when they applied for the assistance, had to sign a waiver promising that they would not work anymore on their homes, which kind of makes sense because if you're asking for money and you're going to continue to work. But it was kind of frustrating for us because our work stopped. And the other thing was that the disaster case management program ended, and so we didn't have caseworkers anymore. So this is the final report for us. And I think that this is, the block grant is going to continue through June of 2028. So this has been really a remarkable journey for us. And here is the total amount of disbursements that we make in all these different categories of almost $698,000 back into the community again. We use local contractors, and so again, and supplies from local stores in the community, and so we built those relationships now, and we'll be in a better position if the next disaster happens. I just want to say that this has just been a remarkable journey for me and for our committee. Long-term recovery takes compassionate people, nonprofit partners, volunteers, faith communities, government entities, and generous donors. We could not have done our work without this network. I'm grateful to the resource allocation team, the support of Regina Abbott and Tony Clark, and the partnership with the Griffin Spalding community for walking beside these families through this recovery. Together we have rebuilt homes, we've restored hope, and most of all, we've assured our neighbors that they are not alone, and I think that's the most important thing in a disaster. So it's been my immense privilege to serve on this remarkable journey. Thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Any comments? Ms.
Yeah.
Ms. Gwynn, I was hoping you could get it to a smaller amount than,
Okay, no, I love Pastor Katie. And I can't say enough how underrated our collaborative is. Everybody was squirreling around trying to figure out how to put something together, and they did it so that it would work. And all you could do the work, and they could do the paperwork. It is amazing to me that you guys, this has been a 3-year ongoing project, you know, and I know you're not at the end, but it's amazing what you guys have done to create something that can be reused on a regular basis. And it's really kind of remarkable to look back and see what this community was looking like after that January 12th and how different it's already gotten since then. And a lot of that is just due to, you know, people like you and the other volunteers, Pastor Katie, because the rest of us went to work and got on with our lives once we got our stuff fixed, and y'all were still out there trying to make sure people got their stuff fixed. So just thank you for, and your entire group for all that you do, and thank you to the collaborative for being there as well. Is that short enough?
And I will say that the resources, now we know how to do this. I mean, the next disaster is gonna look completely different, but at least we have things in place that we can count on. And we've been attending the workshops, that Glenn Polk and his team have provided, so that what the experience and the learning that we have, now we can, give that wisdom back to the community in that way too.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 6 is citizen comments, and no one signed up, so I will not take the time to read all through that. Item number, old business, consideration of motor coach to Selma, Alabama, scheduled for February 19th, 2026. I believe Ms. Carmichael is here to be able to talk us through that. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here this evening. I have since talked with Macon Tracks Travel Club president, and they have had to, because of the small window with which to finalize plans, they have lost all of their reservations and have had to cancel the Selma trip.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for that.
So do we just table this or no action needed?
No action needed. No
All right.
action.
They're wondering what to do with the remainder of the trips that they might have planned for February, March, that are right around the corner while decisions are being made.
When we table this, I think in part of the discussion, I had mentioned that I thought that it didn't make sense to table all of those items that were in February, March because of arrangements. I think it would be pertinent for us, just because this has happened like this, for us to at least, because we know we're not gonna get the information about the bus scheduling and the cost. It's not gonna happen before the end of March. So, I mean, I think, if there's a recommendation from you or Leisure Services,
Yes.
we should just approve whatever trips they have planned through the month of February and March. And then hopefully we'll be in a place where we can say to them, this is what it really is gonna cost you to do that by then.
Commissioner Flowers Taylor, with the board's direction, we will place those items on the workshop and for the February 2nd agenda for that evening for you to consider.
Yes,
Okay,
okay.
you'll be able to share that with them, right?
I will, but their window is short because they plan trips, they have to advertise, they have to accept deposits and.
So
Make
we didn't have
arrangements.
their schedule. I mean, we had it in the last agenda, but I don't remember if it was 2 trips in March or 4 trips in March, and, I mean,
I have from the prior agenda,
because if our
Um,
next workshop is in February,
there was a February 11 to Wetumpka, Alabama. There was a March 11 to Wetumpka, Alabama. And then the next out of state was April.
So if we get it the first meeting in February, we should be able
we
to.
should be able to, not the one for February the 11th, that's not gonna be enough time.
The second one is Selma.
So,
Okay.
so we'll be able to get whatever they have, they can bring that, and we'll just look at what the window looks like. Maybe by that time, Leisure Services would have met and had a different recommendation to bring back in terms of knowing what the actual cost is gonna be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Kelly.
We can work that.
Okay.
Okay. Item number 9, new business. Consider approval of the Safe Streets for All grant award from the U.S. Department of Transportation for $300,000. Before Larry starts, people come to me and say, why are you going through this process of approving these grants? If people are willing to give you money, take the money. Well, there is a number of times when stipulations come in with these grants that we can't live with. administrative burdens and things like that. So we have to go through each one of them to make sure that, okay, this one doesn't say we can't do this or has to be for this or that or the other. So we have to go through each one of them and then be able to say, yes, we accept that grant, because then we have to turn around and routinely do the stuff that they say and provide the information back to them that they want forever. All right, Larry, up to you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis, fellow commissioners, Dr. Ledbetter. Pleased to announce that Spalding County on December 23rd received an email from the U.S. Department of Transportation officially notifying us that we had our application for the Safe Streets for All grant program had been fully funded. We've been awarded $300,000 in federal funding to develop a comprehensive safety action plan for Spalding County. As you may be aware, and maybe not, between 2018 and 2022, Spalding County experienced 65 motor vehicle related fatalities. That's an average of 13 deaths per year. And as I was writing the grant, one of the pieces of data that needed to be in there was the fatality rate. Anything above 16 is considered high and they would prioritize. Spalding County's fatality rate is 19.3 per 100,000 people. So actually, when we wrote this grant, we were prioritized because it's considered high across the country. So what this grant means, the $300,000 federal award combined with a match, and this is part of the requirements, a minimum of 20% match, allows us to conduct a comprehensive crash data analysis, perform road safety audits, complete traffic volume and speed studies, analyze gaps in our pedestrian and bicycle infrastructure, engage directly with the community, and develop an action plan that allows us to be eligible for additional Safe Streets for All grants from the U.S. Department of Transportation. Part of the requirements of the grant is that the plan must be developed with the community. So we can't go off in a corner in a room by ourselves and develop the safety action plan. There are several components that I'll run through briefly. It requires a leadership commitment, and so an official public commitment from the Board of Commissioners. Also requires a planning structure, a committee or a task force or implementation group that is charged with developing and monitoring the safety action plan. Safety analysis, engagement and collaboration with the public and relevant stakeholders. Assessment of current local policies, plans, guidelines, and any opportunities that we can find to improve those. Strategy and project selections, as well as progress and transparency. And so we are required to include all of those things in the safety action plan. And as I mentioned before, the safety action plan is a requirement to receive Safe Streets for All grants from the U.S. Department of Transportation. And I will, just for clarity, we did receive a grant through the ARC for Safe Streets for All, but that's the ARC's grant. That's not one coming directly to Spalding County. So in order to get one, we have to have the safety action plan. They provided us with $300,000 to develop that plan. Once complete, we can apply on our own to receive Safe Streets
Money
for All.
for
grants.
actual project.
Yes,
This is just for planning.
that's correct. Just for planning. I'll take any questions at this time.
So, I know that in your general budget, you did not have monies set aside for matches. So is this coming from T-Splost? Or where is the match coming from?
Actually, it will come from our general fund through our transportation line item.
Okay.
All right, do I have a motion to accept the Safe Street grant award?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. James? Okay, 5-0, thank you. All right, Larry, let's go to the next one.
Again, good evening, Chair Davis, Commissioners, Dr. Ledbetter. I'm pleased to announce that the Spalding Fire Department has been selected as the recipient of the 2025 Time Task Force Grant in the amount of $19,265. This represents 96% of the maximum award available. For those unfamiliar with the program, the Time Task Force Grant, TIME stands for Traffic Incident Management Enhancement. The program's purpose is to provide incentives that enhance time activities for city and county agencies. responsible for responding to and mitigating traffic incidents throughout the state. This was a competitive grant, and the awards were based on active participation in the time team meetings, attendance at the time task force events, responders being national time certified. And we have two actually in Spalding County, Director Emberger and Terry Collins in the fire department. And then a demonstrated commitment to hosting and providing time training. So we've hosted quarterly meetings here in Spalding County. And then also a documented need for traffic incident management equipment. There was an approved list of equipment that we can purchase. From that list, we have decided to purchase equipment to help with traffic control and scene safety, warning signage, traffic cones, and also traffic management. And so essentially what will happen is they will provide us with the $19,000 check, and we will go out and purchase and let them know that we have purchased those items. This equipment will actually be distributed at a station level, and so it'll be up to Chief Byrd, Chief Polk, Director Emberger to determine which stations will actually receive this equipment. I think that's it. I do want to also briefly give thanks to Chief Byrd, Chief Polk, and Director Emberger for making their entire staffs available to make sure that we were able to get this award. There's a possible total of 100 points, and we received 90 of the 100 points on this competitive grant application. So kudos to them for the work that they do hosting these time meetings. And so I'll take any questions at this time. Also, I will add, this does not require a match. This is all $19,265 with no match.
So I do have a question. I don't have any idea how much stuff costs, but in my mind, I'm seeing, you know, emergency management, fire, whoever showing up at someplace at night, finding equipment that will redirect people or to make the site safer. Is that what we're kind of talking about
So it's
here?
a lot of bright orange stuff.
Right,
that
so
they use,
reflective stuff.
all of that,
Yeah, just
yes.
because, I mean, like I said, I don't know how much it costs, but some of this stuff can go well up, and $19,000. So when you said the cones and things like that, just basically efficiently managing the
An
traffic
accident scene,
around.
essentially,
Okay.
yes. And we had to submit an itemized list, and so that $19,265 was literally to the
Already,
penny of
you paying
what
the
they wanted
things
to
that you
purchase.
needed.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd entertain a motion to accept the Time Task Force Grant Award and accept the grant funds as presented.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Thank you. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. James? Okay, thank you. 5-0. Appreciate that. All right, Larry, next.
The next item is a budget amendment for the Community Service Block Grant. We received $106,080 at the beginning of the year, or the FY26 fiscal year. This is not a new award. This is carryover funding from FY25. And so last week, the Community Service Block Grant Advisory Board met to consider proposals and how to budget for that additional $105,000. And so as I mentioned before, these carryover funds represent unspent dollars from FY25, and so this is not new money. This is giving us back money that was unspent for FY25. The program allocation, and I believe you may have these in front of you, new allocation, $55,200 with $33,200 being given to the Salvation Army for a summer camp tutorial program that will serve 44 students. An additional $22,000 being given to Leisure Services for a Spalding Aspire Youth Tutorial Program that will also serve 50 children during the summer months. Also $35,000 for Backpack Food for Kids program. The goal is to serve 273 children across 8 elementary schools with food that will be sent home with them on the weekends. And then an additional $11,000 required for board training. We do have 6 new board members, and part of the requirement of receiving the Community Service Block Grant funds is that they are trained. And so we set aside some funds there for summer professional development for an annual conference in Savannah, Georgia. And so that is essentially the entire $105,000. to amend the CSBG budget for a total of $211,671.81. Any questions I can answer about that amended budget?
Do I have a motion to accept the CSBG carryover funding?
Motion to
Right.
approve.
Second.
You got a motion and a second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. All right. James, we appreciate it. I got it. Thank you. All right, Larry?
Once again, Spalding County has been awarded $160,955 through the Georgia Environmental Protection Division's Tire Products Grant for the resurfacing of the Wyomia's highest walking trail project. This is a reimbursement grant with funds to be expended within 24 months of the award date. This is very similar to the grant we received last year where we resurfaced the Sunnyside walking trail. And so this will resurface the entire walking trail. The trail currently has developed some cracks, some uneven areas, and the goal is to make the surface more suitable for walking for our families, in particular our seniors. We will remove the existing surface, repair the base as needed, and install a new 1.5-inch thick layer of bonded rubber mulch surfacing. Essentially, it's recycled tires. The entire surface ultimately will result from 56,000 pounds of scrap tires. That's roughly 2,800 actual tires. This does not, at least right now, require any money from the county. We received a quote to submit with our grant application. That is the exact amount that they have given us. So $160,955. The only way that the county will have to give any money is if once we put this out to bid, it comes back higher than that $160,000. But this is very similar. This is the second time we received the Tire Products Grant for resurfacing our walking trails in our parks. So happy to answer any questions regarding this grant.
For the citizens, if you have not gone to where we have a rubber walking trail, for some of us that are a little bit older and maybe our knees aren't quite as good as they used to be, this is significant, and it really and truly makes a immediate, your first few steps, you will notice the difference in it, and I truly appreciate it. Do I have a motion to accept the Georgia Department of Natural Resources Environmental Protection Division Tire Derived Protection?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. I have a question.
All right, discussion?
So Larry, when we applied for the INODC, I think, DIC grant, we were talking about just applying for one thing. And then we said, the Leisure Services Group was like, why can't we apply for multiple things? Is it possible can you only apply for one of these grants at one time?
With this grant, I believe we can only apply for one. And the way that I do it, essentially, Greg Stantz was like, here's the grant's coming up again. I want to do this walking trail. And so essentially, I'm taking my lead from Greg and saying, this is the walking trail that is a priority. But I believe with this one, we can only do one. And so we essentially have been doing one a year for as long as the grant is available.
Good job.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you, James. Okay. Item number 5, consideration of approval of 2 Georgia County Intern Program Grant Awards, one for $3260 for our Legacy Museum, and the other for $3260 for Public Works interns. Larry?
Yes, Spalding County has been awarded 2 intern program grants from the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia for the 2026 summer program. The grants will fund 2 internship positions to address critical operational needs within the county. The first is within Public Works. The intern will conduct a comprehensive software asset management audit across county operations under the supervision of Director Emberger. The intern will inventory all major software systems, assess utilization rates, identify unused features, develop training programs, and conduct cost-benefit analysis. The second intern will be working with our Legacy Museum The intern will complete 10 to 12 comprehensive oral history interviews with the African American community members who participated in Griffin's civil rights movement. The project will produce professionally edited recordings, searchable transcripts, and archival metadata integrated into digital archives. And this is a need because, quite obviously, as a lot of folks are getting older, it's important to capture those oral histories and all that information that they have. And time is essentially of the essence in order to capture that. And so these grant awards, $3,000 for the basic salary for the interns. We have to pay them a minimum of $15 an hour. And so with that $3,000, pay them for just about 20 hours a week for approximately 10 weeks. And then the ACCG will also cover FICA and workers' compensation. And so, again, there's no county money necessary unless we intend to pay them more than $15 an hour or they go over the allotted hours. And we do have a meeting next week with Miles to kind of wrap all those things up. But essentially, for 10 weeks, $15 an hour, approximately 20 hours a week, this grant will cover 2 interns for Public Works and also for Leisure Services, our Legacy Museum. And so everything is covered, and there should be no county funds necessary to move forward.
What is the skill set? I not that I'm saying what doing the oral history is not technical or complicated, but as I looked at the description of what it was that was being done in Public Works, that requires someone with some serious analytical skills. And so certainly we're not getting someone with a bachelor's degree to come in to do that, are we?
No, they will likely be college students. And we actually had a webinar last week where ACCG walked us through how to recruit interns and also the networking abilities that we have across the state to recruit college students. And that's what we're looking at, college students, and to be able to do.
So I'm just saying the scope of what this software analyst is, do we not think that would be above the skill set of a student?
I think the way I understand it, it's appropriate for an intern who has some skill, or at least is majoring in some technical field that would help. But it is definitely intern type work.
The ACCG actually sent out documentation for interns that had a desire to come work for counties. And the information that was sent out had University of Georgia students that were a part of the internship program. And it was split between half being in the bachelor's program and half being in the master's program. This was actually one area that we questioned early on with ACCG, and the response was that they thought they had someone that was very interested in this position for us at the above bachelor's degree program.
What does it mean above
Masters.
bachelor's degree?
They were in either a master's or looking for moving into the master's program out of the bachelor's program.
So you already seen this. Inventory all major software systems across 7 county departments, documenting vendors, contractors, assessing current utilization rates through staff interviews and usage data analysis.
Essentially what is happening is there's a lot of software that may or may not be being used to its fullest capability.
Or used at all.
And so essentially what TJ is asking is to go through all pieces of software, determine usage, determine full capabilities, and come back and essentially report on what we have, what we're using, what we're not using, what we can do better. And so that is essentially what he's asking for.
Design training materials for existing staff to maximize software proficiency. Come on.
A lot of
These goals are unreal for a college student. You got the grant. I'm just saying.
Yes, ma'am.
If the project outcome is what you say it's going to be, you're not going to get this from a college student. You might get it from somebody that's in a master program, but what this is right here, even I know, and I know very little about computer, it takes somebody more than a student working on their bachelor's to do that.
And we may, and that would ultimately be up to TJ to change the scope of
Well,
work.
because I just don't want that person to come here
Be frustrated.
thinking that this is a thing that you want me to do,
And
and
not
they
be able
can't
to
do it.
accomplish, right?
Okay, I'm finished lesson.
All right, 2 points for me. One, UGA requires experiential training to graduate from both levels. So students are looking to be able to do something. So they're trying to find an opportunity to do this. They can't get their college degrees until they have gone out in industry or wherever and been able to do it. One. Two, the second one is important to me is because we're taking younger folks and getting them to understand what county government is about. And in my opinion, in hopes that they will want to join county governments as opposed to, I don't know what they do and they just go looking for a regular job in the business world. Here's an opportunity for us to show them and their classmates what local government does.
I get it, Mr. Chairman.
Oh.
But this can also be the reason why someone has a terrible experience with government and go completely the other way.
We have a great county manager who'll take care of that.
I got nothing against the county manager. I'm saying being real. I don't know of any, I don't know. Is there such a thing as a Bachelor of Science in Analysis?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can be an analyst after with a bachelor's degree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right.
Is that his area?
Who's there?
Who, she?
I don't know of the
Okay, yeah.
specific intern.
I'm
not
just
sure.
gonna be keeping my eyes open on that one.
Oh, we want you to. All right, do I have a motion to accept the two internship program grants?
Motion to accept both internships, the oral history and with the analyst for public works.
All right, I have a motion and I have a second from James. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you, 5-0. All right, item number 6. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you,
Great
Larry.
work. We appreciate all you're doing to bring funding into our county.
Mr. Chair, just as an aside, excluding the carry forward money for the CSBG, that was $486,740 worth of grant funds.
Good
That's-
job, Larry.
That's, yes.
And TJ and
And
whoever
that
else.
just
you
about
can claim with.
covers Larry's salary, I understand.
Oh. Well, I'll also add to that, I think I mentioned to Dr. Ledbetter last week, we've gone over $1 million for the fiscal year. I think we're at $1,018,000 with these most recent awards for FY26. And so halfway through the fiscal year, that's decent.
Fantastic.
That's decent.
It was interesting when we first started talking about hiring a grant writer and the conversations that went on with, oh man, we're going to put that much money out for a grant writer. We don't know if you'll get any grants at all. And look on the return on investment we're getting.
I never said that, Larry. That was them. That was them.
Thank you, Larry.
I
We
knew you
appreciate
was
it.
gonna come here.
All right. Item number 6, consideration of approval for Sapelo Road closure for demolition of existing structures for Griffin Spalding County Airport in the amount of $71,075. Madison Teague from Croy Engineering, step forward. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Chairman, and thank you, Commissioners. I wanted to bring this before the Commissioners just to say that we do have a major safety concern being Sapelo Road. We have had a lot of urban campers. We have had multiple fires requiring our wonderful EMS response, and then a massive amount of illegal dumping that has created further safety issues. With this, we are asking to close Sapelo Road. As you can see up here, it will be within the airport's property, which is pointed to at those 2 red arrows. Past attempts to secure the properties have not been successful. So we ask the board to consider the approval of this closure of Sapelo Road, and that this will be completed with the existing contract that we have with McElroy for demolition of existing structures and abatement of hazardous building materials. also in revision, instead of 71,000, we are asking for $35,537.25. This will be split with the city.
We pay 37 and they pay 37 basically. Okay.
35, yes.
Okay. All right. Comments or questions?
I do. So what? Y'all gonna dig up Sapelo? How you gonna keep people from coming up in there?
Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to put up what are called jersey barriers, which are kind of concrete barriers in addition to road closure signs. We've also previously had a meeting with EMS to ensure that we're going to grade this out, put in gravel for truck turnarounds, because one of the big things that we want to do is maintain that if any sort of fire truck, ambulance, or otherwise gets back there, they have the ability to turn around and get back out.
Okay.
This has been a problem for
Yeah,
a while
I
for us.
mean,
This is
totally
not new to
understand.
anybody that's been watching the
And
airport.
that's a good amount of distance for having people dumping on.
Yes,
Absolutely.
and sleeping.
Yes.
So the motion is to approve the payment of $35,000 for demo of the existing structures for the
We
airport.
get the exact amount.
So that is $35,537.25. So that is half of the written $71,075.
And I like, I like this idea of going ahead and, demolishing the ones on Sapelo. It won't be like it was on Banks Road. Banks Road, they put that kind of at the tail end of moving forward, and that's what led to the vagrancy and the dumping and all that stuff, so.
Let's get it
and
done
just
now.
Do it all in one.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, Ms. Gwynn, did you make a motion with the numbers?
Yeah, I'm trying to make the person inside of my head not fuss. I would like to make a motion to approve the expenditure of $35,537.25 for the demolition of existing structures for the airport authority at Sapelo Road.
Now, second.
I have a motion and I have a second from James.
Reggie.
Reggie.
Oh, Reggie? Okay, I thought James did it. Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. Motion carries.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Madison. We appreciate you coming and staying this long. Consideration to appoint a voting delegate to the ACCG Legislative Leadership Conference. I have been doing this, and I would like to continue to do it if you all agree.
Do we need a vote? Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that Chairman Clay Davis continue to represent us as a legislative voter.
Now, second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Thank you. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you. 5-0. Item number 8, consider approval of the second reading of no-through truck ordinance. Dr. Ledbetter and County Attorney Wyndham.
Mr. Chairman, this is just the second reading, and we have workshopped it and made multiple changes and had a couple of first readings. So this is the actual second reading of this no-through trucks ordinance.
Motion to approve the second reading of the no-through trucks ordinance.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Yes. I'm concerned, as I understand it, that there are businesses that have their home as their business offices, and they're taking their tractors, the first part, and driving on our roads, and they're overweight. Is there a way of being able to figure this out so that that's not happening?
We can certainly look into it, Mr. Chairman. There are many people who are independent contractors who drive tractor trailers and park at their residences. So I'm not sure exactly how to make that work, but we can certainly look into it further.
And I'm for approving this tonight, so everybody understands. We've got to figure out somewhere in the business licenses or something when people start doing that, if they're going to be driving, because it's just almost the opposite of what we're trying to accomplish. We tell people you can't drive, and then the next thing we do is, okay, I'm putting my house as a business address, and then the code enforcement says, all right, you can continue to drive on there. So
And we have some other challenges as well. You know, there are police departments and sheriff's departments across the state that allow their deputies or police officers to drive their vehicles home. Well, some of our contracting companies allow for employees to drive the tractor portion of the tractor trailer home as a benefit for being employed. And that's another challenge for us because they are driving back and forth from work. And we've got to be able to figure out how to account for that as well.
Why? Why are we concerned with what they're doing with their job?
I'm talking about from an enforcement perspective, putting it in ordinance.
So this is the thing for me. What we were talking about earlier, I don't understand the difference. If the road is mastic or if it's whatever else,
Chip and seal.
that road is not hardly made for regular car traffic.
That is correct.
So under those circumstances, that is not a regular roadway. It's gonna tear up, period. So for those reasons, if someone has a homeowner's
home business.
home occupation, and then the road becomes upgraded to whatever that is, do we tell them you can't drive your truck on this anymore because it's improved? So I understand what you're saying is that before we make a home occupation, do we say if I have a trucking business, you're allowed to come in? Because in a subdivision, everybody's living on a half-acre lot. You can run your business out of your house, but can you come home and drive your big tractor trailer truck right up next to somebody else's house? So
That's the issue. We've got to figure out how to say those wording so that we can stop that because it's defeating what we're trying to do. We understand that somebody's business, they're driving their tractor trailer as if that's a car to them. That's a vehicle source to be able to do, just like going home at night. Okay, I dropped my trailer. Okay, so yeah, you understand. So we've got to do some more work in thinking through that to be able to,
that's another thing altogether else.
yes.
But, yeah, so we have a motion and a second.
All right,
Actually, you have a motion, a second, and you've already voted.
Okay, well then, we're done.
okay. All right. Item number 9, discussion of revision of the standards and process for amplification permits, not part of the approved event centers. David Allen, Director, excuse me.
Just speaking on that last item just for a second, actually, we have improved the language in terms of home occupations with the kinds of vehicles in there, depending on the zoning, when we approved the definition section last month. So it has improved somewhat. I can show that to y'all in an email tomorrow if you want to see that. So.
Yeah, please. Okay.
Okay, so a couple months ago, we improved the process for approved event centers in terms of noise and the processes involved with that. You directed me to now look at individuals, they're not event centers, and various events they might have on their own property and the sounds and all the things involved with that. I mean, this could range from anything from a football tailgate party to a birthday party to lots of different things that individuals could have on their property. As I have in my staff report here, some various points I'd like to make. There's a lot of issues, details to still work out, but I'd really like to encourage the board to kind of shift their mindset on these individual permits and properties and maybe start thinking of them less as amplified sound permits and more as public event permits. So the weaknesses and issues of the current review approval process for these amplification permits, as we call them, is I'll make 2 points here. Loud noise doesn't have to be because of amplified sound, microphones, etc. It can be as a result of large crowds and vehicle engines. So I think this needs to be a public event permit, not just an amplified sound permit. You can have a lot of sound coming from property with a large gathering that has nothing to do with microphones or anything like that.
Oh, good point.
The other point I'd like to make is, should the Spalding BOC be in the event noise regulation business for individuals, not approved event centers, or just let the sheriff's office handle private events or parties that get out of hand as disturbing the peace or disorderly house calls? We seem to have a lot of, past year and a half I've been here, a lot of event amp permits come up here, and it's like a small party, a private party, things of that nature. So I'm just wondering how much entanglement we want to get in those in the future. So let's skip down to page 122 of the staff report. I'm recommending we have new definitions for gatherings by individuals on properties to take into account all potentially harmful noise and to distinguish between private, mostly family events and more public events. So I have several new definitions here to propose. Ambient event sound, that's something that can be anything other than unamplified voices and a microphone. That could be party favors, fireworks, again, vehicle engines if you have a large gathering, things of that nature. I define the general public, and then I define a public event as a gathering one time or periodic open to the general public on a private property with or without permanent structures, including but not limited to campouts, charitable causes, cultural events, dances, so on and so forth. Events shall be considered public events if they meet one or more of the following criteria. Requires an entry fee or ticket to attend. B, is advertised to the general public via flyers, banners, signs, advertisements, social media, or other media forms. So going along with this, we would now focus our attention more on public event permit issuance and not the private events. Private events obviously would not meet the criteria I just said. They would still be subject to no parking restrictions y'all have made before, and if the party or whatever gets out of hand, it could still be a disorderly house or a disturbing peace call to the sheriff's department. But as far as public event permits, I have within my office, we would keep the same structure we have now for amp permits, not exceeding 4 hours and not going past 9 p.m. Have a lot more robust application form, a lot more space to fill out exactly what they're doing, hours, anticipated crowd, so on and so forth. If they exceed what's on the form, they can be subject to a citation for that. If you telling me you have a public gathering, let's say a rodeo or something with 50 people, and sheriff gets called out there, and lo and behold, there's 250 people out there. Well, that's citation time, where you exceeded what you described as the gathering that was approved. Also, this addresses frequency, and we can talk about the frequency. I have on here twice. Any such public event permit on the same property more than twice in the calendar year, that could go up to 3 times, 4 times, whatever you want to do, would be considered an event center. We have habitual people that come and ask for events on a property, and maybe 3 or 4 times a year. You're really kind of flirting with event center when you start talking that many events on a property, the same property. And then I have on here what this board would review, anything that exceeded 4 hours or extending past 9 p.m., much like we have now. But again, these are for more public events, not just a birthday party on such and such property. So I'm hoping to kind of shift the mindset to larger, more public events and not just review every single birthday party or whatever that comes before us. So I'm sure y'all have questions.
Well, all right, let's say somebody wants to have a birthday party and they bring a band with no amplification and they put them in their backyard. That's a private thing.
Yes.
What happens then? It's just, sheriff comes out and says, you're too loud?
Correct.
Oh,
That is very subjective.
the Tony's coming forward, I think.
And we will get eaten alive.
Whoop, I agree.
Because if you ask my son
Whoop.
if something is loud, that's going to be a definite no. But if you ask me if something is loud, it's going to be different. So part of the problem that we had over the past 20 years that I've been here and talking about this, is that there's no definitive, objective way to measure what the sound abuse is. And on any given day, to call the sheriff out to say, okay, yeah, we're 500 feet away from it, sounds loud to me. I mean, my daughter has dog hearing. I'm whispering about her and she can still hear me. So that, for me, that is not going to work because it's very too subjective and it depends on who it is and what they feeling like that day.
Take a
Right.
TV, take
I
a
agree, that's a detail that needs to be worked out. What I'm trying to do is necessarily separate us from some of these smaller events that I don't think we need to review to the larger things that need to be reviewed, so.
And that's a,
Can
Go
I
ahead.
interject just briefly?
Sure.
That may help with the quality.
step to
that he's
Mike
working
so we can
toward.
hear you, Tony, I'm sorry, so she can hear you when we record.
State of Georgia doesn't have a law that regulates residential noise, so we can't enforce anything without an ordinance.
Okay.
So that would be important in this decision making.
Okay, good point. All right, David, this is, for us, is a think point, right? You're not
Yes, it's
looking for us
trying
to approve
to-
something tonight.
No, it's not, that's something that needs to be as a first reading even, it's not even at that point, but it was trying to shift the mindset away from us getting embroiled in every single event that may occur in a backyard or wherever, to focusing on the more important ones, the rodeos, the things of that nature, where it gets out of hand. And I'm also, we focus on the amplified sound, but there is plenty of sound, loud sound that could be made without a microphone on the property. We have some in Pike that are extremely loud with people revving engines and 200 people parking in a field and not a single microphone out there, but it's still making a lot of sound and disturbing neighbors. So I want to try to get us to
Okay.
slowly shift our mindset away from how it is now to a more public event permit. So.
Unfortunately, and I'm not saying we can't shift, but unfortunately, the bulk of these problems happen directly in the residential area. I live in the city of Griffin, and 2 doors away from me, 1 door on each side, are people with babies. And on this other side of them are some young Latinos. Well, when on Friday night, they start partying. It goes all night. Okay, I'm not mad at you while it's 7 o'clock and 6 o'clock. But when it gets to be 10 and 11, and the house is still thumping all night, the next day, the next night. So I'm saying this to say this, and why I told my husband not to fuss at the people. Because when I was 20 years old,
Yeah.
I could party all day and all night and never thought the music was loud. So it is what it is. And so once we told the landlord, man, we can't sleep, then the next week it got better. But that's a different situation. So what I'm saying is these incidences arise in individual situations. You're a homeowner, somebody's leasing next to you. They don't care about somebody else's stuff. So do you allow that to happen every single week just because they're having a party in the backyard? Or do you say in order for you to come out, because no, they didn't have, I don't think they had an amplifier, but my glass in my house was shaking. So whatever they were using in their car or whatever, the train comes behind my house. It was louder than the train.
Okay, now, this is just simply, there's no action required. I want everybody to just, David's
I feel
giving
like
us
we
an
need to
idea.
workshop
To
this.
listen, start thinking about it ourselves, the private versus the public, and how we want to try to do something about it. Because we haven't been able to get our arms around what we want to do yet. Event centers we're pretty good at, but beyond event centers, we got to figure it out, and David's given us a new alternative to be able to do something with.
So I noticed in here it talks about if you're inside of your house, if a person inside of their house and they're playing loud music, they can play it as loud as they want to. That's what it says, right?
That's in there now, yes ma'am.
Yes.
Right. So if they can stand it inside of the house, I probably can stand it. I mean, they'll be deaf way before I probably get tired. But I'm saying that the big thing for me is outdoor noise.
Yes.
We got the thing, you know, an event, if an event center, they don't need permission to do this, but if they wanna have a wedding outside that lasts past whatever the noise limit is, then I think in that case they should, because I'm gonna be out there 10 o'clock at night.
Certainly.
But the question is, how do we do big outdoor events? And then how do we keep me from having a cow because my neighbors are being 20?
Right.
Okay,
That's a good
it's a think
question.
issue. It's a think issue for us right now, and David's given us an alternative to start thinking about it
I'll
differently.
read back through
And so,
mine
and
too.
y'all, right now, y'all focusing on parties and
Just a
stuff.
second, James, just a second.
We are focusing on parties and stuff, and just like at my house right now, it's probably 3/4 of a mile away, they're clear cutting. And they cut till 11 o'clock last night, and I could hear the machines crank up at 4:45 this morning. You hear, round, round, and just in the dark. So, I mean, that's another noise. I mean, but there's, you know,
Okay,
I mean, it's just not parties and hoop haws, and
Yeah.
if I was gonna throw, and if I was gonna throw a birthday party, or one of my family's gonna throw a birthday party, I guarantee you, we're not coming up here and asking for no permit.
Well,
We're gonna
I
party
get it.
down, and if Tony and them show up, we're gonna shut up.
Exactly.
But
And that's kind of
that's,
where I'm
that's where
heading with this.
that's where I agree with y'all.
Yeah.
So.
Now, what about funerals? Like when people come to people's houses after people are dying or whatnot, and people come to the houses and they, like, you know, they have the fish fries and the
Right.
music playing, and you know, I don't want nobody being disturbed morning, you know, and they sitting there, some
If
just
your
don't love
music is that loud, you already disturbed morning.
No,
Morning is
people party.
Well, I get it. I
with
know people
funerals.
party.
So,
But I'm saying
yeah.
you still need to be, just because you're in mourning don't mean you
Uh,
need to be
No,
disrespectful.
not with the loud music. Just say with the cars. Okay, you was talking about the car. Cause sometimes like those subdivision could get loaded up with cars, you know, doing a repass or funeral or whatever, whatnot. So I don't want to affect the people, you know, who going through that. Different from a funeral, different from a party. You know what I'm saying? It's not a party. It's
okay, yeah, all right, this, James?
For me, I worry tightening down too much on this, specifically during the day and at night's one thing. Amplification permits are one thing, but I worry about places like the Griffin Gun Club, Cherokee Rose. You know, if they have a big special tournament, that's an event, and they're going to be shooting a bunch of guns during the day, and then, hey, wait a minute, now we've got this ordinance that says you're making too much noise during the day, and it's like, well, but they're not amplifying anything, and, you know, by the time sun's going down, they're, you know, they're lining up, but I want to make sure that what we're talking about here is more what Gwen's saying. It's more about the parties, it's more about nighttime when the neighbors are trying to sleep, more about residential areas, not what somebody's doing out in the country during the day, you know what I mean? Like, there really needs to be a distinction drawn between those two things, if that makes sense.
Agree. All right, so everybody take some time, think about it, watch yourself around other places when you're visiting people and all of a sudden they got music going on and stuff. Hey, how does this fit? All right, thank you, David, we appreciate that.
Good word.
All right, item number 11.
Resolution to,
We're on number 10, Mr. Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Consideration of contract to demolish the 117 East Solomon Street by Anderson Environmental Incorporated.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. The board has already approved the award of the contract. This is just moving forward with the award of, you've approved the bid amount and the awarding of the bid. This is approving the contract for Anderson in the amount of $390,000 to move forward and issue the notice to proceed.
Do I have motion?
motion to approve,
$390,000.
initiating the contract, $397,000 with Anderson Environmental for the removal of 117 East Solomon Street.
I have a
I'll second it.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. Thank you, James. Motion carries. Now I'm on item number 11.
Yes, sir.
Resolution authorizing the condemnation of fee simple property rights for the development and improvement of aviation and transportation facilities.
Mr. Chairman, this is the final condemnation for the Griffin Spalding Airport Authority. The property is owned by Kenneth Belcher. It consists of an acquisition tract and also an uneconomic remnant tract. The parcel number is 220-01030, and the acquisition tract is 10.33 acres. The uneconomic remnant is 9.57 acres. The resolution just authorizes you to begin condemnation on those parcels.
Motion to approve.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 5-0, motion carries. Item number 12, consider a resolution to authorize the county manager to consult with the legislative delegation as well as with the county managers of Pike, Upson, and Fayette counties to determine the willingness of all parties to participate in and all actions necessary to determine the feasibility of and interact legislation by the Georgia General Assembly for the purpose of splitting the Griffin Judicial Circuit to include Spalding, Pike, Upson, and to exclude the county of Fayette, which will remain as a single county judicial circuit. All right, this is simply starting the action. This is not approving doing it. This is simply going to them and saying, would you all study this to see how this looks, correct? All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve a resolution requesting a study to potentially modify our judicial circuit.
James, did you second?
He did.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand.
Aye. Raise your hand.
Thank you. Motion carries.
We need to specify as well that resolution gets sent to our legislative delegation. They have to ask for the study to be done by, I forget the name of the board, but there's a specific board that they've got to ask to start it. They have to ask by June 1st, and then that board has to have sort of their results back by the end of the year. That's a major part of it. Nothing can happen until that happens.
All right, is that all in the motion?
The resolution would be provided to our legislative delegation. It
If
provides
it's
Dr.
agreeable.
Ledbetter with that authority and also with the authority to negotiate with Upson, Pike, and Fayette.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're all square with that. At this time, we have the report of the county manager.
Mr. Chair, I've provided quite a bit of report this evening, so I'll let that one stand. But I do want to highlight for our community, please, please, please be weather aware for this coming weekend. As you heard from Chief Polk and our EMA team, the information that we're getting from the National Weather Service and from other sources indicate that this could be as bad, if not worse, than the ice event that we had last year. So please plan accordingly. Mr. Chair, that's all my update this evening.
All right, Deputy County Manager.
Good evening. I'll be really brief. I just wanted to remind everybody that we are in the beginning phases of the FY27 budget. If any citizen is interested in attending those actual hearings, please let me know and I'll be glad to provide you the dates. It is a public hearing that we will have 2 weeks, one in March and I believe the other one is in May. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
No, sir, I'm good to go.
Okay, Reggie.
I want to thank everybody for coming out to the MLK parade and participating in the parade. It was great. I used that time to reflect on myself and I said, how can I be a better me? So I want to encourage the community to reflect on yourself and say, how can you be a better you? And that's the way that you change the community. Also, I enjoyed the retreat. We bonded. I enjoyed you guys. A great retreat. And also just be safe during the weather. That's all I have.
I have some of the same comments that we've heard. MLK parade was really great. Lots of people out looking, saying things. It was really nice to be able to do it. pretty cool out there. And truly, there were some people out there in their uniform costumes, whatever you want to say, that were short sleeves, because that's what their outfit wore. And it was really nippy for them. Our Grand Marshal was sitting in the top of a convertible, and the car was driving along. It was pretty nippy for him. But the kids were excited about being out there, and you saw stuff that was going on for MLK. Comment on the bad weather. Be weather ready. This is going to be, we think, bad. So please take the opportunity. What do you do if electricity goes out? How do you handle all of those kinds of things? Do you know where your candles are? Do you know where food is, and how are you going to get to do that? Remember, you have to think about how people are going to get to help you, and if something happens in your house, where your rally points and stuff like that. So please take care of that. I want to thank the, I got to do James too. I want to thank the board for the retreat. I thought it was as good as we can do. I appreciate it. We came up with some great goals that we want to move the county towards. The staff is taking those goals and is moving in the direction to put action plans behind all of those, and we're really happy about it. So everybody knows, we're looking at a SPLOS in November. There's a whole bunch that has to go on with that. Administratively, we've got to get the city of Griffin and Orchard Hill in with us. We've got to decide what those things are specifically on. We just don't get to wave our hand and say we want to do something. So it's important that you understand this will not be a new penny tax or anything like this. This will just simply be a replacement for the current SPLOS, current T-SPLOS when it goes away. Our guy in Las Vegas at a convention, James.
Yeah, I've got a couple things. One, just listening tonight to Dr. Ledbetter's report, we just have a fantastic county manager, and I'm just so grateful that for all his work and how hard he works and how diligently he tries to make sure everything's on the up and up, it's transparent, and we're just getting the best deals for everything. So I just really appreciate him. Second, in the report about the disasters and our recovery, they pointed out, and this was something I didn't know, that City Church had a warehouse that they were able to allow us to use for sort of the drop off for all of the recovery goods, and I thought that was super convenient. What I didn't know at the time was that they had been trying to develop that, and unfortunately, they didn't have the money to finish that off and finish that project before the tornadoes hit. And I'm sure that the city church was sitting around going, Lord, here we are trying to help and trying to do what's right and help our fellow man, and we can't find the funding for this. Why can't we find the funding for this? And then the disaster hits, and had they had the funding before, there wouldn't be an empty warehouse where they could use as this depot that was so incredibly helpful for all our fellow citizens. So, sometimes the Lord does answer your prayer. You just don't understand how He's answered it until afterwards. So, I found that very interesting and a little humbling hearing that story tonight. Speaking of humbling, I think it's very disappointing that we didn't approve the trip to Selma last month. When they had plenty of time, we wanted to do it tonight, and now we're out of time. I hope that we don't make those mistakes in the future. That said, perhaps in the future, those plans can be brought to us sooner, so that we can get things moving, so that we don't lose out like we have this time. One last thing on SPLOST, what we've been saying for years, my 8th year is this year as a county commissioner, and the whole time we've been saying any future SPLOST is going to be needs, not wants. Needs, not wants. And we said the same Orchard Hill. We said the same thing to City of Griffin, and we hope that they're all on board with us. We have committed to the citizens that there are things that Spalding County needs: new jail, new courthouse, all this maintenance, roads. We need that. And I hope that all the other municipalities join us in making sure that this SPOS vote will be 100% needs-based and zero, if not very little, wants. And that's all I've got tonight. Thank you all for letting me zoom in.
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. All right, County,
I have a question.
yes.
If the weather is going to be as bad as, it looks like, that means not only will we be providing, warming shelter for homeless people, there will be people who have electrical outages. How are we letting the community in general know that if your lights are out or your heat is out, that there is a place that you can go to get out of, to get warm? I mean, we're talking about getting ready for that coming on the other end, but what are we doing? I mean, we're saying the warming centers are open, but, we really could have people whose power go out and they can't stay in their house. So just
Yes, ma'am.
Just a thought.
So staff will be meeting tomorrow. It will be our first day for stand-up for the weekend, and that is a part of the discussion to make sure that we have our digital board signs out, that we're letting our community know through social media that we are ready for this, and we're encouraging them to be prepared, and be prepared not just for if it happens, but when it happens. How will you be able to get to the warming centers? How will you be able to take care of yourself for power outages? So yes, ma'am, that tomorrow is our first day, and we are actually working to stand that EOC up.
And an event, we had an event coming up on this weekend at Fairmont.
We did, we had, it's been postponed.
I want to make sure
until
everybody understands. we
January the
postponed that.
31st, and it is the grand opening, the shovel-ready opening for Heritage Park Gym.
So
Groundbreaking. Thank you for correcting me. I needed this.
It's been moved, postponed, because we think the weather's going to be that bad to be able to do it. All right, County Attorney,
Yes, sir.
citizen engagement.
Just to remind everyone that we have our second, Spalding, you have second annual, Citizen Academy coming up March the 5th. And we'll be putting advertisement out for that, hopefully in the next week or so.
Awesome.
So I would highly recommend to citizens, if you have the opportunity to be able to put a application in and then be selected, it is well worth going to and learning about who our people is. You get an up-close personal approach with judges, with directors and things like that. It is really well. All right, anything last minute?
motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand.
I am raising my hand.
We're adjourned. Thank you.
See you, James.
Okay.
Oh, here.
Okay.
Talking about, the Mason.